Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Tell Me More show. And my special guest this morning is the beautiful Sheena Cantar. Good morning, Sheena.
Good morning, Kel-Anne.
How are you?
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. Now, Sheena, I'm going to read this out, is a motivational speaker, relationship expert, leadership and sales development, and I'll add the little bit that you had on there. It's live your best life yet. I got that one off your LinkedIn profile, I think. I found that one.
But I change it every day. When people ask me, what do you do, Sheena? I go, I really don't know, but what should we do today?
Well, I was a bit confused because I was looking at Facebook and I was looking at LinkedIn and thinking about conversations because we've known each other a little while now, probably about 6 months or so now, I guess. And I'm thinking, she does so many things. It's so hard to describe. I'm just going to, like I did, read it off the LinkedIn description. Yeah. But everyone will get to know you a lot more. That's what this is all about, getting to know more about you and how you are of such service to so many people. Now, I want to start with, where were you born?
Belfast. I was going to say Hollywood. I was brought up in Hollywood, but the actual hospital was in Belfast. So Northern Ireland, for anybody who doesn't know that. But I come from a place called Hollywood, County Down, and it's literally about 5 miles from Belfast. And that's where I was born and bred until I was 21 when I left.
Wow, I didn't know there was a Hollywood in Belfast.
Yeah, well, it's not in Belfast, just on the outside.
On the outside, but I didn't know there was another Hollywood.
Yeah. Oh, there's actually quite a few Hollywoods. There's a Hollywood there's a Hollywood near Birmingham and in the UK, and there's Hollywood in Southern Ireland somewhere as well. I mean, they may pronounce them Hollywood, but we say Hollywood.
Hollywood, yeah. Oh, fantastic. So you stayed there till you were 21, and
21.
And is that when you moved to the UK?
I moved across the whole big trip across the water. I mean, it was frightening, to go from Northern Ireland to Wales, I mean, it was just such a big trip. And yes, I moved over for marriage. And to be honest, though, when I look back at it now, I think I was just moving to move. So because that marriage went south very quickly within about 3 years, and it was probably one of the pinnacle moments of my life where I can see how things took a different route. I was so angry. I'd been brought up Catholic, and I was told that when you got married for life, and that nothing bad would ever happen to you. And I took on the whole story. So then when things happen to you in life, it was like a shock. I mean, an absolute shock. I can see how I lived my life with rose-colored glasses. Oh, and by the way, I put them back on again. But at that time, I lived my life with rose-colored glasses. And people would say that to me. But then I had a severe shock and had my glasses taken off very, very quickly. And even to the point where the priest was worried about me. Because as far as I was concerned, my life was damned after that, because that's what I'd been brought up to believe. No sex before marriage, blah, 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 blah. And here I was going to be divorced. I had a child, and I had this whole story that the rest of my life was, that's it, it's done. And even the priest said to me, oh, dear God, what have we done to our children?
Oh, no.
You see, that's one of the things that I learned, that don't believe a word you've been told about anything in your life.
Yeah.
And only believe your own truth. And that is it. And that was my first lesson of being lied to. But I wasn't lied to on purpose. I was conditioned to a certain point. And then I had a rude awakening. There you go. And but it turned me, like everybody, that pain, whatever we have, turns around and forces us into another direction. And so that was that was the moment when I decided, right, I can't handle this pain. And I couldn't handle the destructive nature that it was doing to me. So I decided to do a degree. And I was the only girl in the class at that time who did computer science. Everybody else did business information technology, and I had to prove a point. So I did an honors degree in computer science, and I got my degree, and I was the only girl on the stage. And I was just like, one for the girls. So it's amazing, isn't it? How the life will pull the carpet sometimes beneath you, but it's only because you were believing a pack of lies. You weren't listening to your own truth. And
Yeah.
then you think it's been done to you. No, it wasn't. You did it to yourself. You just were oblivious to the whole thing. But you got your wake-up call.
Mm.
And then pain drove you, but it's now time for pain not to drive you anymore. Just for anybody who's listening, recognize that it was a good thing, but now you can drive yourself with love. So that was a huge learning at the age of 24. I was at the time.
Wow. Wow. Goodness gracious. When you first left school, though, what were you wanting to do then?
I didn't have a clue, Kel-Anne. I was told that I wasn't academic. And so I didn't have a clue. So my mum said, well, there's no point in going on to do your A levels. You may as well be a secretary like me. So as far as I'm concerned, you did have to pass exams to be a secretary. So for any secretaries out there, I applaud you. And the medical secretaries applaud you even more. Being a medical secretary was like so hard. I mean, you were really busy. You knew more than the doctors most of the time. But anyway, that's all besides the point. So yeah, I didn't have a clue, but there was one thing that, so this is where, again, don't believe a word you're told. You've got to listen to your heart and open the door, not look through the keyhole, open the door to just go, what is possible? So at 19, I went to, I thought I'll go and join the RAF and be a secretary there. So I did an IQ test and had an interview, and they said, right, your IQ test is 160. We want you to be an officer. And I'm like, I don't even understand what that means. But I sat there and I was, yeah, you don't need an interview. You're just going to come for training. We're really impressed with you. And I left and I never told anybody because I was embarrassed. I thought they'd got the wrong person and I didn't want to be found out.
Oh my gosh.
That's what listening to somebody else. Your mum doesn't even know who you are. Stop listening to her. Stop listening to your friends. Stop listening to your school teachers. Oh my God. So nobody knows who you are. So I didn't know who I was. And so I never told anybody that, Kel-Anne. And then I went off and got married.
Oh,
I followed the line that that got me away. But so then obviously I was able to prove the point through my pain. Look, Sheena, you do have a brain, you just got a degree. So I went off then and studied masters, blah, 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 never mind all that. But what I realized then, I stopped at one point and just went, what am I doing all this for? There's nothing to prove to anybody now. So Kel-Anne, I didn't have a clue what I wanted to do at all. But I knew I wanted to be happy.
Yep.
So whatever job I was doing, if I wasn't happy, I would go and get another one. And then I would love it. And then I would do it really well. And then I get bored. So I wasn't happy. So I'd go and get another one. Then I would do a qualification. And then I'd be really happy. And then I go, oh, I'm bored. And I just kept just being happy in the moment, just being happy no matter what it was. So wherever life was taking me, I was just decided that I needed to be happy, end of, no matter what was going on. So
yeah.
I had all that then.
Wow. Okay, so we got to you're 24.
Yeah.
And you've got that degree. So
yeah.
Then you got bored with that. What did you do after that one?
I joined actually a pharmaceutical company. I'd been in the NHS before that. Actually, no. So I got married again. I had another child. And then at the age of 33, I joined I was in the National Health Service. So I had lots of different jobs. I'd even been assistant hospital manager, for goodness sake, at one time. It just makes me laugh. And I just landed in these positions and I would go, well, this is fun. I like it here. Anyway, and so then I decided to join the number one pharmaceutical company in the world. And I didn't know it was then. I understand my strengths now to understand why I chose that one, why it was chosen for me, because one of my strengths is always looking for the best. Yeah. Now, I didn't know that was in me. But so I'm at this company and my goodness, the first 18 months, Kel-Anne, your personality takes a hit. Because in the NHS, National Health Service, it's like, well, that's your job, just get on with it. Be thankful you've got a job. End of story. That's your personal development, done. And then of course, in pharmaceuticals, it's like, well, you've got to talk about yourself. What? I'm just doing my job. And then, 1 minute I was in a job in the NHS where people would make appointments to see me because I was on the commissioning board. And then now I was sitting in a surgery waiting for a GP, a general practitioner, to see me. And I could be sitting there for an hour, sometimes 2 hours. And my self-image went like, we thought you were somebody somewhat, Sheena, to like this.
I've seen
I
that
would
happen to pharmaceutical reps when I've been at doctor's surgeries. You see them sitting there waiting and waiting and waiting.
Yeah, I mean, for anybody who watches a pharmaceutical rep, they are so highly qualified, they are so highly trained, and they are treated like a pile of poop. And it's really like, you know, I couldn't believe that people would talk to me the way they would talk to me, because I would never talk to anybody like that. And so that was the first thing, that people would talk to you like you were a piece of nothing. But it was just like, whoa, you're having a bad day. I never took it personally, but it did have a toll on my energy. And I would come out of appointments crying. But then I would look at my nice car, and I would be able to pick my kids up after school. And then I would go, oh well, so bye, next, you know. So there's always swings and roundabouts, but I stuck at it. But I never got on the sales board. I never got on I would always be 100%. My KPIs, look at that word, KPI, I was able to tick boxes really well. KPIs, and I blame that from my Irish dancing days, because my mum had me drilled, you know, production. So I knew how to play the game. So I ticked all the boxes, but I was never a salesperson in here. And then I was being told how to be. So my manager would come out with me in a call, and he would tell me how I should be in a call. So I would become this thing, you know. And I remember my Uncle Brian saying to me, Sheena, the one thing you've got to remember is you're going to be trained to be a certain way. And then you're going to spend the rest of your time in the company trying to untrain what they've trained you. That's the same in life, Kel-Anne.
I was just going to say, that's the same in life.
Absolutely. So
we're so conditioned, and then we're trying so hard to get rid of that conditioning.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And we're so trapped up in that conditioning. We think we are that conditioning, and this is real. No, it's not. You were told it and you accepted it.
Yeah.
Imagine if you told yourself something else and accepted it.
Yeah.
So that manager, he just basically managed me of my weaknesses. He was trying to make me better, but all I felt was weak. Then I had a manager after 10 years who sat down, and he came out in a call with me. He said nothing, and he watched what I did, and he said, after a month of observing me, he said, Sheena, you are this. And I thought, who are you talking about? And he'd gone, I'm talking about you. And I'm like, that's not me. I can be better. And he's like, oh my God. And I didn't believe him. I thought he was talking about somebody else. But he was the first person, in my whole entire life, to tell me what was good about me.
He really saw you.
My parents. Yeah, including my parents. And this is probably true for everybody. Everybody was only trying to make you better, but only because they didn't feel good enough. Not because you weren't good enough. And so you continue this on yourselves. And what is that thing that everybody goes, 1% better every day? That's telling your subconscious that you're not good enough today. Here, now, this moment. This is the best moment of your life. Whether you're sick, it doesn't matter. This is the best moment of your life right here. This is the highest version of you right here. And what are we doing, Kel-Anne? Running around looking for the highest version of ourselves, which, what are we telling ourselves? You're not good enough.
That's right.
So we're never good enough. So we never make the grade, do we?
No.
And so that guy, he told me, I'm going to give him his name out there, James Steed, and he works for Pfizer. And I always say his name all the time. And anyway, I then decided to go on for management, but I wasn't management material. I'm blonde, I'm small, I don't shout. I lead from whatever is going on, sometimes from the front, sometimes from the middle, sometimes from the back, mostly from the middle, because I like to get involved. But that's not a leader, according to the leadership, criteria that's out there. And so it took me 2 years to go to every assessment center for this role. 2 years, I would be number one every time. I would get top marks, but I would not get it because of the interview at the end. Now, every time it was a man interviewing me. Now, I'm not saying this wrong. I wasn't saying it was against women, but men are looking for masculine tendencies, etc.
Their version of what a leader is.
That's their version of a leader. And the universe, bless its cotton socks, brought a woman in, and she interviewed me, and I got the job. And then she left the job a month later. She came in, she was in that job for 3 months.
Wow.
As far as I'm concerned, the universe just said, can you just blooming well get in here, give the girl a job, she's going to do a really good job. And then I became number one top salesperson across the country, above everybody who talks a lot. I was just the person doing it, and top 10% globally.
Wow.
And so that then led me into personal development, that I realized
that was my next question. How did you get into that?
Because I had my strengths done, and I was seen again. I was seen again through my strengths, where finally it was okay to be Sheena. And that was at the age of 45. I saw myself, and I heard my teammates actually say, because I constantly, I was trying to measure myself on them.
Yeah.
But they do this and they do that and they do the other. But then they would turn around and they said, yes, but Sheena, you're the one who goes out and does it. While we're still talking about it, you've been out, done it, and come back with the wisdom, or we're still talking about it. Mm. So I don't know what it was, I suppose acknowledgement from my peer group.
Yeah.
And what I realized was the acknowledgement really needed to come from me. An acknowledgement and acceptance of me. And so I just literally, I didn't even try to get to number one, Kel-Anne. I just went out and I enjoyed myself, and I was my strengths, and I just used every strength that I had to be me. And I got in where people wouldn't get in, blah, 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 blah. And I actually was even made redundant. So I got to number one, but I'd been made redundant just before I was number one. So when the awards came up, Sheena's name was on lights, but I wasn't there to see it. All I had was a phone call, and I happened to be out in a beautiful dress with a glass of champagne in my hand when I got the phone call, forgotten all about it. But I'd asked the universe, I kept saying, number one, I'm number one, I'm number one. But I didn't care. I didn't try to get to number one. There's a real clue in that one about manifestation. And I had the phone call to say, you're number one. And I went, oh, yeah, cheers. Oh, nobody gives a damn. It's funny. That's manifestation for you, but we all put too much effort in it. Way too much effort in manifestation. So there's no such thing as personal development. I will stand here and just go, stop personally developing yourself, because basically you're telling yourself that you're not good enough. You are good enough as you, and enjoy being you, get to know you. There's a whole more deeper meaning to what I'm saying here, because you don't actually exist, but never mind, that opens up a whole other can of worms. You think you have a small me, but in fact you're the infinite you, the infinite self. And when you can open that door, you're not looking through a keyhole anymore. You're looking at, oh, I don't know a damn thing. And it's fun not knowing. Scary. But actually it's being done onto me. Life is living through me. And that's what's the beautiful thing. So personal development hurts because there's nothing to develop. You are perfect just as you are, right here, right now.
And that's what Bob was always taught, wasn't it? That he said he learned more about himself and how we work, and that's what he enjoyed with his journey of 60 plus years of studying himself.
Yeah, he says, once you know you know everyone. And so there's no strategies, there's no techniques. I did master in NLP, master in hypnotherapy, master in Reiki, blah, blah, blah. And it was just got to the point where going, I seem to know a lot, but I don't have any results. Something's not quite right. And there was only more stuff to remember, to be honest. What modality, this. And when people do NLP talk with me now, I go, I don't understand what you're talking about anymore. I just do not know. All I'm doing is having a heart-to-heart conversation with the person who's in front of me. Because I have been through, whoever comes to me is the attraction of me, the old me, and I know their journey. And so I don't need a modality. I just go, well, this is how I did it. This is what I noticed. Now I can point you in this direction, but you are doing the journey and you will find you. And then you will attract those people who need to hear what you need to say. So there's like you said about, coming on here and what are we going to talk about? Well, I can only ever talk about my experience. And it's a beautiful story that's been created for this, Sheena. Like, I smile, and it only gets better, but even it can't get better because this is the best moment now, but it just is a beautiful story that has been created. And when we can really start to see ourselves that that's a beautiful story, and that we're making up tomorrow today, you know. And one of the things that I teach my clients is the mirror effect. You know, you think nobody can see your thoughts. Your thoughts are not in your head. Your brain is just a sending receiving device. Stand in front of the mirror, and before you start complaining, have a look at yourself in the mirror and go, do you want that repeated back to you? That's it. That's as simple as the law of attraction is. Stand in front of the mirror. So before my clients get on a call with me, because they'll go, Sheena, can I have a chat? And I go, great. Before we have a chat, can you look in the mirror and go to have the same conversation that you want to have with me? Have it with yourself. And ask yourself, do you want that to come back? And if the answer is no, we don't actually need a call.
That's good. I like that.
You just coached yourself, because you look in the mirror and you go, yeah, but I need to. And I go, no, that's okay. Go in front of the mirror and need to do that. Go on, go and see what it looks like. Because that's what I'm going to see. And that's what I'm going to display in the universe as well. I'm going to understand your need. I don't want to understand your need. I want to understand where you're going. I want to understand your dreams, your hopes, your vision, your fun, but I know people are going through stuff right now. But just stand in front of the mirror and repeat it and ask yourself, do I want this to continue? And if the answer is no, start to walk forward, even if it's toenail by toenail, Kel-Anne, for people who are watching this. I know this. I've been there. I lost everything at one point at 48. Just lost it all. And for 18 months, it was like this big dark hole I'd fallen into. And I would still get up at 5 o'clock. I would still do what people said, getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning makes you successful. No, it doesn't. Makes you tired. I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning because I love getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, not because it's getting me anything, but I would wake at 5 and I would go, what's the point? But then I would think of my kids, and then I would go, get up. And I would put my feet on the floor and I would make the decision every day. And it took 18 months for that to shift around. But I made the decision every day that every day was getting better for me, for how I was feeling at that time in me. And then all of a sudden things did just flip over. It's like maybe you have a glass of water and it's been sitting for a while and there's a load of sludge underneath. And you keep pouring good water in. It doesn't look like it. In fact, it looks like it gets worse. So you pour all this good stuff in, good thoughts, nicer thoughts, loving thoughts, not I will be better thoughts, but just loving thoughts, and more and more and more and more in. And it disturbs the sludge, and the sludge just goes, ah, and makes everything look 10 times worse. But then eventually it overflows, the sludge goes out and the water is cleared. But you've got to continually do that, because if you leave it again, isn't that what people do? They get somewhere and then they go, oh, I've got it now. Worst thing you can think of. As soon as you think you've got it, that's it. You've stopped growing. The world carried on going, and you're behind now. Yeah. So.
Yes, well, I mean, Bob was learning up until he passed away. And we're talking about Bob Proctor, for those who aren't aware. Now, let's talk about that, your journey with Bob Proctor. Now, how did a consultant contact you? How did you find Bob Proctor?
Well, it's always the way that the universe works, isn't it? You know, I go to a networking event that I've only ever been to once in the centre of Manchester. Didn't speak to one girl the whole time, but as I'm leaving, I'm looking at her and I'm like, oh, I wanted to speak with you. And she says, I wanted to speak with you too. And so she was a Bob Proctor consultant. And would you believe that she actually knew my partner, Wolfgang, as well? And her husband had done some work with Wolfgang. So it was really funny how you just randomly meet somebody. Yes. And she was talking about this program. But of course, I knew it all, Kel-Anne, because I had my master's and blah, 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 all those things. And I was a Gallup certified strengths consultant. I knew it all. I knew everything that she was talking about. So it took her a while to break me down. And the one thing that she said to me was after about 6 months, and I says, but I know all this. And she goes, clearly not, Sheena, look at your results.
Yes.
That was the slap in the face, because I was in my lowest time right then.
Yeah.
And that was when I woke up. So I did the program with her, and immediately I had results. So thinking into results was the program. That's what's sitting there. And so I pulled in 40K within the first month. I was like, oh my God, this is it. This is brilliant. But then I got a smart ass again. This is why I'm saying to people, for God's sake, stop knowing anything, because I lost it all again.
Oh no.
And so I knew then that I needed something, like I needed a kick up the butt. And so I asked about being a consultant, because I didn't know where to go anyway then. And it was 30,000. And at that time I was 70K in debt. And I just picked up the phone Proctor Gallagher. And I said, I want to be a consultant. And they said, well, do you have the money? No. Well, you're going to find the money. Yes. Do you know where you're going to find it? I haven't a clue, because I can't get credit or anything, and there's nobody for me to rely on. So, but I found the money. I found the money for the deposit, and I did it. And we didn't have money for that Christmas, but that was another magical thing that happened anyway. The universe took over Christmas for me, but that's a whole other story. 3 days before Christmas, always a fine. Sometimes the universe just leaves it, like Google, she only tells you where you're going to turn left when you need to turn left. And so sometimes you think it's not going to happen, but then you just go, no, it is. I saw this. And then the universe opens up anyway. So yeah, I bet my life, I bet everything, I bet Christmas, I bet everything on this. And that's whenever I started to be mentored directly by Bob. And it's about studying yourself, but I kept getting it wrong. So no matter what you're told, your perception is so programmed and conditioned that you hear what somebody says at this level, but I'm way over here. So even now I go, Bob didn't say that. And I go, oh, he did.
You hear it through your perception, you don't actually hear what is said. You're hearing it through your filter.
100%. So I heard it all as getting, and you think you're going to get, and law of attraction is about getting, and it's not about that at all. And it's not even, people are doing the law of attraction before they've understood the law of vibration, which is the law before the law of attraction, and it's like really understanding like what lesson 1 is all about, it's not just goal setting. That's easy. It's the art of goal achieving. And that's a whole different story. So even though lesson 1 is like 15 minutes long, jeepers creepers, it's everything. The other lessons, 12 of them, they support lesson 1. But everything is lesson 1. I mean, if you got lesson 1 and really got it, what Bob was saying, and like he would say, Kel-Anne, that Bob would always say your spiritual DNA is perfect.
Yes.
Inheritance is infinite intelligence, not your parents. Not your parents. No. We're so focused on the paradigm shift of reprogramming from what our parents taught us. But the true paradigm shift is realizing that you're infinite potential and not a human.
We're a spirit having a human experience.
Yes.
And he used to quote that a lot from Wayne Dyer. But I think somebody said it before Wayne did. That Wayne has been credited
for. Things have been said over and over. I should just go and look at the Bible. Do you know what I mean? It's all in there. And I love quoting the Bible. Like I ever studied it. I don't know why, but I keep coming up with verses that keep popping up in my head, and people go, have you studied the Bible? Well, I must have studied it at some stage, because I keep all these little things just keep popping up. But it's not me, is it? I'm tapping into an infinite potential. And if I ask a question, there's no point in asking a question and then trying to answer it yourself. So in Think and Grow Rich, the book, it says there's 3 sorts of knowledge, and it's your experience, knowledge, and infinite intelligence. By the time it gets to the end of the chapter, it says, do not rely on your own experience. Do not rely on your own knowledge. That's only 2%. Wow, we've been really good at that 2%. The infinite intelligence is where your answer is. So when you ask a question, so this is what I didn't really get when Bob would say, what do you want? You're not asking this little me here.
No.
You're asking infinite intelligence, what do you want? Because that's who you really are, and what is wanting to be expressed through Sheena, what is wanting to be expressed through Kel-Anne. But most people's definition of success are, well, I'm a PGI consultant and I want to be earning millions, so, and if I'm not doing that, then I'm not good enough. Or I should have a Ferrari in my driveway. Now,
Yeah.
that's just what you're programmed to think what success is. How many people, what I realized was there's no difference in the vibration of a beggar man on a street outside Costa Coffee, say, and a guy parked outside Costa Coffee in his Ferrari.
Mm.
Vibrationally, they're probably having the same conversations in their head. Neither of them feel safe and secure or loved or acknowledged. And all the personal development does is, here's the wavelength, and you end up just on this side of the positivity. And you criticize and think you're fixing the people on the negative side. Well, here's the eye opener. You're on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
If you spot that negativity and you think it needs fixing, it's you, it's not them. And so we avoid the negative and we ignore it and we go, stay away from negative people. And I'm like, I used to do that. I'm positivity number one of my strengths. So I was just like, not even paying attention. But what I used to do, when I realized what I used to do was, I knew it was there, but I just used to look this way. But then what personal development did for me was to criticize and think that they needed fixing. But actually, I did all that study for all those years, Kel-Anne. How many years? So say it's probably about 15 years now. So say for 10, I've been with Bob for the last 4, and really it's only a revelation in the last couple that I'd realized that I hadn't learned a damn thing and I hadn't grown vibrationally at all. After 12 years of study, nothing had changed. Oh, circumstances had, but vibrationally, I was exactly the same and no better off. There was a bit of a, an ego. Ego has to be, there is no ego anyway. It's just a thought system.
Yeah.
But I was stripped and stripped and stripped and stripped until I just gave in and went, I don't know a damn thing. Oh my God. Wow. Everybody's beautiful. Everybody's me. Wow. Been criticizing me all these times, trying to fix me, trying to be 1% better. Imagine if you just looked at yourself now and said, acknowledge and accepted yourself exactly where you are right now. And it's the best place you could be. But what would I like to have tomorrow? Oh, that looks nice. Okay. And that's it. No need to force it. You're not making anything happen. You plant the seed, or the seed is planted. You saw the seed that was planted, and now you just cultivate the garden. What's the garden? Your inner conversation. Yeah. Moment by moment by moment. Not a meditation for half an hour a day and then go back to your life. Carrying on, criticizing, this isn't good enough. I haven't got this. No. 24 hours a day, watching every word you say. That's cultivating your garden. As soon as the week shows, out. You just go, thanks for being here, weed, but no, we don't have weeds in my garden anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Reject, delete.
Lovingly.
Yes.
It's like, accept all. I accept weeds grow, but not in my garden.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that.
And some weeds are beautiful, actually, Kel-Anne, aren't they? So sometimes we don't know what's a weed and what's a flower.
Well, that's
but
right.
I know what I've planted, and I'm only looking after what I've planted. I will have no thoughts. The discipline of this type of thinking, that Thinking into Results gave me, is my safe haven, because it helps me hear. It calms the mind. The way, so we're in a matrix of thoughts. We're so distracted. Thoughts. What Thinking into Results does is it's like puts another little, like, here's your matrix. This is how to think. Anything outside that, just drop it. This is how to think. So now my mind's quieter, because if it doesn't fit in that matrix, I'm not listening. It's how to think, not what to think.
I was just going to say, it is. It's how to think. It's empowering you.
Yeah. Now I can hear. I don't have to be busy all the time. I want to sit and just look out the window, maybe for 2 hours at a time, see what comes up. But we're so busy putting stuff in, YouTube, read the books. So Bob says consistent spaced repetition, not consistent repetition, consistent spaced repetition. Space is so whatever you've put in, it'll mix around with whatever you've got going on, and things will come up. You've got to allow them to come up. And some of them are not very nice.
Yeah.
But that's okay. That's it. Go. I see you now. I don't need you anymore. But then the good stuff comes up as well. And let it rise. So there's no more trying to get to a vibration. When you acknowledge and accept yourself, then you rise. And you're there anyway, to be honest. You're not rising anywhere. You're recognizing that you are there anyway.
Well, it's tuning into the right frequency, isn't it? He always used to use that, the analogy of the radio station.
Happy FM or sad FM, which one do you want to tune into?
Yeah.
But you can tune into, this is what
But
I realized.
they're both there.
Yeah.
So it's the one you're
But
in.
Sad and peaceful. You can be the observer of the sad FM. You can listen to that music if you want and still be at peace. You can listen to angry FM and still be at peace. You see, there's another level to go back and be the observer of all these rather than the controller. But in the observation, you can just, it's more, people are trying to control things. Control is fear. That's what I realized. It's trying to control my mind, control my emotions, control my thoughts. Oh my God. Just, yeah.
Let it go.
That's
Just
fear.
accept it and thank it and let it go. Yeah.
That's it. And look to where, well, that's really nice for being here. I've had enough of you sadness today. I think I'll be happy today. Today's a happy day. Because there's a lot of rhythm that goes on.
Yeah.
And if we fight against that, we're fighting against ourselves. We're energy and motion. We're always moving. Yeah. And so that's all you're feeling is movement. And
sometimes, Sheena, it's especially if we're in a group situation, we're feeling the vibration from others. It doesn't belong to us. So some people think it's them, and you know how they say, you know, you'll go into a room and there's a lot of tension and anger, and then that person will take that with them wherever they go during that day. It's a matter of being aware, whether it's yours or not yours, that, oh, okay, that's not how I want to feel today. I'm feeling happy today, but thank you, but I'm feeling happy today. Yeah. But yeah, it's not always yours.
No, that's the thing, is that there's all these thoughts. We don't have a thought in our head. It's the brain that's an antennae that is just literally picking and receiving thoughts. And, you know, you could be sideswiped by somebody else's thoughts who's living two doors down from you, and you just pick up on their thought and you think it's yours.
Across the other side of the world.
Yeah, and then you take it all on board, and then you've got to deal with it, and then all the emotions, and then you go to therapy, and then you have to then figure out something that was never yours in the first place. But because our brains are, you know, it's all a story. It's all a story in mind. The law of mentalism. Everything is mind. So even nothing physical is here. It's all mind. It's all a play of energy. So we're trying to change things that either, number one, weren't ours, or that we think are solid, and they're not. They're always moving. Always moving. So your next best thought is just a thought away. Yeah. And that's what's just so funny about it all, is that, you know, like you say, most of it isn't yours. No. So look at all the stuff that you can imagine that is being thrown out there constantly. But also, right as we're sitting here, is all the money in there, and all the money in the world is passing through you and me right now. It's all here because it's all in energy. It really is. And it's like, but what are you focusing on? Where's your attention going? Yeah. So if you've ever been on a horse, and you're like riding along, and if you look that way, you'll just end up going that way.
That's right.
Like the horse is going,
exactly.
Where are you going?
Yeah.
And I remember being told, why are you looking at the bottom of the fence? If you keep looking at the bottom of the fence, you're going to end up there. Because you're supposed to look over the fence, so the horse looks over the fence, you know? And so many times people will be looking at the bottom of the fence and like wonder why the horse stopped. Just that's your energy. That's where your body's going on. That's what the universe is going on. So where are you looking? Not like, can't look over there. So now you're in resistance to that, and you make that bigger. Yeah. But if you just go, I see you, but not today. This is where I'm going. That light. that, there's a great article if anybody wants to read it. It's by Thomas Troward, and it's in one of his books. But if you just Google Thomas Troward touching lightly, it tells you about attention, and it talks about attention. So just touch lightly. Don't grab your manifestations that you want to happen in the world and strangle them. You're strangling yourself. Just go, yes. Because you're saying yes anyway to everything. If you give it attention, you're saying yes to it.
Yeah.
So just look at the yacht. Oh God, Kel-Anne, I could be on here forever talking about the things that have manifested because I just had an idea. And then the next thing I'm on the back of a yacht in Dubai and blah, blah, blah. Like you just go, what? How did I get here?
I love the story
I
about
remember
your
that.
house. I love the story about your house. Tell them that.
Well, that was it. I drew, I haven't got the picture here, but I drew for 6 months because I couldn't write out the affirmations. My pens were running out, the papers were running out, my hand was running out, and it was causing me more, it felt like it was causing me more tension to write out affirmations 100 times. So thank you, Bob, for the 100 times, affirmations. It wasn't something that worked for me. It does work for some people, and maybe it does work. I don't know, actually. There you go. But I decided to draw what I wanted. So instead of, listening to my life script, which I did on occasion, or write it out, I just drew it because I find it peaceful to draw. And I would draw this house, and I would draw the sunshine, and I would draw a private jet, and I would draw the horses and the stables, and I just drew it all. And I drew it every day for 6 months. And it was during COVID time. And somebody said, do you want to go and play polo? And I shouldn't have been on the roads, shouldn't have been. It was sort of like, well, there was nobody else on the roads, and there's me driving to go and play polo. And it was just a random thing. And so I went to play polo, and I overheard a conversation with somebody. And it was about this house that I'm in now. And I'd seen it before 3 years ago, completely forgotten about it. And I went, oh, is that free? No, is that available? And they're going, yes, yeah. So anyway, one thing went to another, to another, to another, to another. And when I signed on the dotted line, Kel-Anne, I didn't have the money. But there was something in my heart that was just going, just do it, just do it. And I was scared. And I thought my logical brain was going, what are you doing? But my heart was like, I don't know, just sign. And the money, and the money came. The money came. Even up until the last day, Kel-Anne, there was still some problems and things happening. This is what I'm saying, is that the problems and the obstacles are just to help you focus more. They're not actually getting in your way unless you look at them. So even on the day of moving, something happened, and it was like, this may not happen kind of thing. And I just decided to ignore the email completely. And I thought, we're going, didn't happen, it didn't happen, and blah, blah, blah. And even when we went to pick up the keys from the estate agents, it was just like, when we came out to the front door afterwards, and we went, oh my God, we did it. We actually did it. But then it was what I'd realized, so it wasn't the drawing of it. I know what brought me there was my heart, and the reasons for doing it brought me there. And one of the scenes that I had going on in my head when I would visualize would be cooking dinner, a certain meal, and my kids sitting on the couch behind laughing. And 3 weeks into the house, I went to go and do some dinner, and I said, shall I do spaghetti bolognese? But then on the way, just not randomly, decided, oh, I'll do beef stroganoff. Never thought anything of it. And I'm cooking the dinner, and the kids are sitting on the couch laughing, and I'm cooking beef stroganoff. And I went, oh my God, this was the vision I had.
Yeah.
And I'm in the middle of it.
Wow, how good's that?
I come when ye think not, it says in the Bible. I come when ye think not. I wasn't thinking about anything else. I was in the moment, and I'd visualized that moment so many times. I was now in it. Yes. I didn't create it.
Exactly the same, Sheena, as you drew. The house there's an airport nearby, so you see private jets. You've got the stables, you've got the horses, you've got the
everything was in the right place.
Everything is as your picture.
Even the sun. Even the sun.
That's amazing.
Because I couldn't see the sun where I was at that time. I couldn't see the sun. I was just like, I just want to see the sun all the time. And the sun goes from there right the way across to there. So we see the sun as much as you can see the sun in the day. Like that took about 3 months before I clicked with that one. I looked at my picture and I went, oh my God, everything's the private jets. Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm saying about, your manifestation isn't you're not responsible for the manifestation. It is being done to you. What you're responsible for is accepting the seed that was given to you, loving it, seeing the image of it, playing with it in your mind like a child. But then the rest of the day, the reason for doing that image work is so that you feel the feeling. And then the rest of the day is to, how can I maintain that feeling? What thoughts do I have that maintain that feeling? And then I go, well, I am so grateful. I am so happy and grateful. I love this. I'm so lucky. Look at me. Oh my God. That's the that you create in that other 80% of the space that you're not visualizing. You're not manifesting anything. That's the thing that people think, look at, I did. Pride comes before a fall. It wasn't you. Acknowledge him in all thy ways. Who's
you just
him?
allow it to
who knows? Yeah, who knows who him is? Infinite intelligence, the miracle that this is that we've got right now.
It's beyond our comprehension in these bodies. It's pretty beyond. You know, it's
beyond, way
too hard to describe. We couldn't describe it.
And people use the word God, and God has got so many concepts around it. So if you can actually just go, God is. And that space right there is where anything can come up. So infinite intelligence is. And then something will arise. It's taken our, we know nothing. Just give up on knowing anything. Just be happy and love and help other people do the same.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned about the polo too, because I was going to ask you about the polo. When did you actually start doing that?
Well, that was another thing. That was like 6 years ago. That was like a Groupon voucher. I don't know if you have those in Australia, but it was just a voucher that I'd seen one time, and I'd been playing with the idea. I'd wanted to do it 2 years before, but I'd actually had an accident in my horse and broke my back. And so I literally was just like, it's sort of like, just put a hold on things for a while. And then I saw this Groupon voucher, and I was just like, oh, right, okay, yeah, I'll go and do that. And it was the end of season, so I only managed to get a couple of, lessons in. But then he says, listen, I'm going to Barbados in February. Do you want to go? And I went, yes. So I went to Barbados, and I went for the week, and I was playing with royalty. I had 4 polo ponies to myself, and I had somebody who helped me get on the horse. I didn't have to do a thing. Oh my God. I mean, that's what I love about polo. I'd come from doing British show jumping with my daughter, who I was the groom, did everything. And then now I had a groom, and he was doing everything for me. I didn't even have to think about it or anything. And it takes me about a few days to notice these things. It was about the Wednesday when oh my God, this is how the other half live. This is fun. So that got me totally addicted. And so I played in Dubai, and I played in Austria, and mainly in the UK and Cheshire. And then but next year, that's what I've got sponsorship for my own polo team. And so we've got a team of professional women, who want to play polo, and it's for fun. We're going to be the best, of course, though, because Kel-Anne, that's just what I'm going to do. And, but we're going to have fun. And I would like to take that globally as well. So the best sentence, this is for anybody listening. If you want to know what you want to do, follow your heart. So 6 years ago, when I was sitting there beside a girl, and I just said to her, what do you do? Not realizing who she was, that she was a blooming like the royalty of the place, but never mind. And, she just turned around and she went, I play polo. And I went, oh. And in my head, I went, that is the best answer I've ever had in my life. So that's why on my LinkedIn profile, it says, Sheena, I play polo, Cantar. I put polo in inverted commas, because that to me that's my self-image. That my self-image is changing about who I thought I could be. Back then I didn't think I could ever do that. Now I know I can. And I'm setting it up that Sheena Cantar, I play polo. So what does anybody listening to this now, what's in your heart? What would, if you could say something and smile, like, I want to be a princess, Kel-Anne, like Cinderella. I live in a castle. And when I say all those things, I smile. Who cares if it's not true? Who cares? But it is coming true anyway.
Your house looks like a castle.
Yeah, but there's more to come. You haven't even heard half of it yet, so more to be revealed.
Oh,
But yeah, more to be revealed. But that's the thing. Start saying things that make you smile about what
yeah,
you want. Not what job am I going to do? Why am I going to earn money? How am I going to get this? No, no,
yeah.
no. What makes you smile, and start dreaming about it? And I absolutely, absolutely guarantee you, if you don't try to get it, it will be brought to you.
Mm, mm,
So what do you want, and what makes you smile? And
yeah.
just play with it and get on with your life. Get on with your life and start to notice things and start to follow things, knowing that you're okay as you. There was nothing to be developed. There's no 1% better you. You are the best self right here, right now.
Yeah, yeah, beautiful, beautiful. So I'm going to put in the comments after the show. I'm going to put all the contact details for you. So let me know the best one for them to contact you, and if they want to do thinking into results or any of the other things that you can offer. If there's separate links for any of them, I'll get them from you and we'll put them in the comments afterwards so they can find you. So what I want to ask is, and I don't know if you'll answer it because it's an open sort of open-ended question, but is there anything that you haven't achieved that you would love to achieve? And I'm sure
Well,
there's probably a list.
that's where the castle comes in. And here's the thing anyway, is that there is no tomorrow. Everything is achieved right here, right now. This is quantum physics. This is science. This is not woo-woo. This is not me just living in my
True.
imagination.
Yeah. Yeah.
Quantum science says that everything is here right now. So my story starts with Sheena. I'm Sheena Cantar and I live in a castle. So it's just, has it materialized, in a physical sense for other people to see, is of no concern of mine. It is already happened. So, but then after that, I don't know what's happened, because every time I get to a new level, then I go, oh, look at this. Oh, I could do this. It's like Lord of the Rings, isn't it? How many mountains did that flipping guy? Here's another mountain. Oh my goodness. Well, that's going to be our lives. And you don't know what's on the other side of the other mountain until you get to the top of it. And then you look and go, oh, I could do that now. So I don't really know, Kel-Anne. I've decided to go back to where I was before, the rose-colored glasses were on. Then I had them taken off doing personal development because I had to, so now I put them back on again. And I've decided to just go, right, well, this is where I am now. I'm Sheena Cantar. I live in a castle and I play polo professionally all over the world. And I mentor people to live their lives and dreams. It doesn't really matter because you're all perfect and nobody actually needs mentoring. Isn't it funny that I'm saying that? But you don't actually need anybody. And my aim for my programs is that you come to me so that you never need me.
Yes.
It's different from any other things. It's just like, oh, how are you going to keep them? How are you going to keep them there? No, I want you to come to me so you never need me again, or a guru ever again. So, because you are your own guru.
Yeah.
And for you to know that. So what happens after living in a castle? I'm also now the director of and co-owner of a hotel company, but more of that to come as well. And as well. And what happens after that? I really don't know. I'm just so excited at this new adventure that I'm just about to physically see. That who knows? And if I want a Ferrari, I'll have a Ferrari. And if I don't, well, then I don't. It doesn't really matter. If I don't want a car and I don't have a car, it doesn't really matter. It's not, I realize it's not somebody else's definition of success. What I wear, whether I've got Botox in my face and whether I've got my teeth done or anything like that. It's just, I've realized that it's just about loving the story and honoring the story that I've been given and living it to the best and allowing the best and more to come through than I could ever imagine back then as a 19-year-old who I couldn't even admit that I had a brain. Yeah. And how dare I think that I could be an officer and a leader back then, to now just being, imagine if we taught our kids, imagine if the kids coming through now that we could tell them, you're not your body, you're not your mind, you're not your thoughts, and you're not your feelings. Yes. You are using it. They are an instrument for you to see the world. You are awareness itself. Right now in your awareness, we can go to the moon. Let's go to the moon. Let's pick up some moon rock and bring it back. There you go. Everybody's just done that in their imagination. Let's go to the top of the Eiffel Tower. We can go there right now.
Yeah.
There's no edge to your awareness. And that's who you are. Your awareness itself. You're not this body. You are awareness of everything.
Yeah, because it's an illusion. Yeah.
Yeah, your awareness of everything, not just what's in front of you, but right now I can go anywhere in my imagination.
Yeah.
Where do you want to go?
Yeah. I'm in Maui at the moment. But
It's amazing. You know, I was sitting in the kitchen the other day and the sun was shining through and I was closing my eyes and I was sitting and my son said, what are you doing? And I went, I'm just loving being on the back of our yacht at Cannes. And walking past, you know, looking at us, and I'm just sitting here having my little, you know, morning tea, sitting in Cannes. So it doesn't matter, you know, it doesn't matter anything. I can be anywhere at any time, and then I feel that feeling, and then walk through my day with that feeling. But then it's like everything. Your phone needs plugged in continually. You need to keep plugging yourself in and reminding yourself of who you are. It doesn't just because you get it one day. That was yesterday. You know, because you got it 5 minutes ago, doesn't make any difference. You can be swiped by a thought at any moment and change your vibration. And here's your goal. And you were here, and you were here, and you were here. And then you thought a thought somewhere else, and then you went, missed it.
Yeah. That's right.
It's all there. It's just, are you the persistence and the discipline of your thinking and your inner conversation, to me, is the biggest thing that I had to change. I was a negative Nancy, even though positivity to everybody else, positivity in everybody else in my life, but I had shocking conversations with myself.
Self-talk, yeah.
And which most people are. But there you go. And I can see people's conversations. So funny on LinkedIn, and I see these amazing profiles, and then they'll come on a call with me and I'll see their energy straight away.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa, but I can't say that to them. I'll just be like, okay, and I draw some questions out, and people will be very honest with me. And that's what it is. We want some people to be honest and go, really, that girl said to me, look at your results, stop pretending.
Yeah.
And yet we're told to pretend. This isn't pretending. This is about being and allowing.
People to put on a mask. Yeah. I
see people's pain. Why? Because I was there before and I recognize it. Yeah. And obviously it's something that would always be, because we are everything. We are everybody.
Yeah.
And so, but I don't have to be drawn in by it anymore. I can be the observer of it rather than being drawn in by it, because empathy is one of my strengths as well. And just like you said, I could get sucked into somebody else's energy and think it was mine.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And we've all done it. And so all of a sudden we're feeling really tired and we're irritated. It's like, where did that come from? And
the best one
to be aware.
Yeah, the best one for people is whenever you meet somebody who looks overly confident and they shake your hand and it feels like you've just lost your fingers, you know, you just lost your little finger in this handshake or whatever. Yeah. And immediately I feel love for them. Whereas before I would have felt like really small, but that was because they were feeling small.
Yes.
And their protection mechanism was so big, like the David and Goliath. Goliath said with all his armor on, and all David had was a wee stone, you know. So most people are wearing that armor, and you can feel the force of the armor, but it is nothing for the heart that can just recognize that person is protecting themselves. Yeah. And most people in corporate are doing that. They think they're safe and happy, and they're just protected. Bigger probably than anybody else. The CEO of the biggest pharmaceutical company is probably the most protected person, and they're not feeling into who they really are. So amazing. So you never need to feel lacking in confidence in front of anybody. Just if you felt confident, then you went into somebody's presence and all of a sudden you feel lacking in confidence, just like as you say, be aware and just go, whoa, I just got sideswiped then by something. What was that? Oh, this person's right in front of me. Oh, I can feel them. But just send them love. Yeah. Don't try to fix them. They're not broken. Just love them. Love them. Yeah. Because it's you.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Well, I was going to ask you what is your vision of the future, but I think you've sort of already explained that.
I actually, you know what as well, Kel-Anne? I actually don't know, which is also good. So I'll just say, you know, Sheena Castle. There you go. That's really funny. Sheena Castle. She plays Polo. My vision of the future is I actually don't know so much anymore. I just know that now is my future, because this now creates the next now. And so there only ever is now. So we talk about the past now. So whatever we're keeping alive now is our eternal now. You want to ask yourself, is that good? Well, I have written around my house that the word mirror. You know, my children were asking, why have you written mirror everywhere? And I went, because it's a reminder, what am I thinking? And immediately, if I'm having a thought that's not serving me, and I look at the word mirror, then I go, okay, just saw it. No, that's not what I want repeated back to me. It's a really, basically, you can describe the whole law of attraction with the word mirror. Because think of it as well. We think we have to fix people. So if you're in a mirror, and you can do anything you want in the mirror, you can be sad, you can be happy. The mirror doesn't complain. The mirror just lets you do whatever you want to do. And then you leave the mirror and you look at the mirror. It's not affected in any way. It doesn't need fixing. It's not broken. In fact, it doesn't even miss you. So stop trying to fix people, because God doesn't need fixing. Seems so funny now. But when you put it in the terms of a mirror, the mirror doesn't even miss you. You can go and play in the mirror, have as much fun and be as angry or as happy as you want to be, and the mirror will not judge you. And then you leave the mirror and the mirror's not affected.
True.
That was the hardest thing, I think, Kel-Anne. Well, not the hardest thing. I remember I've had vision after vision after vision, because I've asked the questions. And the first, you know, when I remember the vision of not being needed, and that I was no longer special. There's no specialness about me. I'm unique, but I'm not special. I'm the same as you. I'm the same as my shake. I'm the same as the light. I'm the same as every single thing. I am not special. Well, that took the ego a bit of a hitting, but I am unique, and there's a unique expression coming through, which now I can appreciate in everybody as their unique expression coming through. But also that no matter what I did, it didn't make a difference. I'm not making a difference to God. God needs nothing from me. What could I possibly add to God? Wow. Then I sat there and I went, so everybody's doing all this for no reason? Came the answer. And like, it started laughing. This was like just before I woke up, all this visions and like this big black hole of seeing people climbing up ladders to get to nowhere. I started laughing and I went, first it was like, I got angry. I was really angry because, you know, all the stuff I'd done. And I actually sat back and I started laughing. When I woke up, I started laughing. I went, oh my God, like, what is life's purpose? I don't know. Make it up. Have fun. Live your best life. Have fun and help other people have fun. Because you know why? Not because they need help to have fun, but because you feel better in helping people to have fun. So
it's all about joy. It's all about joy.
Yeah, pure joy. Not a joy attached to I'll do this for you and then I'll feel better. No, just pure joy. So the beggar man on the street does not need help. You can see his greatness in him. Now you can help him, but see his greatness. Do not see that he needs you. You can walk past and you can go, do you fancy a coffee? Has anybody bought you a coffee recently? Imagine having a conversation with them and buying him a coffee. Because most people just walk past and ignore him, but he is you. You're just ignoring him. Look him in the eye. Say hello. Just the same vibration as you. If you've seen him, I guarantee there's your vibration. If you think he needs help, it's you. He's not worse off than you. That's just a story. He's just in a story. He's playing his part.
Yeah,
He's
true.
got the same access to the infinite light and potential that you have. Why don't you tell him that? Why don't you see that in him? Why don't you see him shining, this light that's shining inside him, but he's covered it with dirt and a coat? What have you covered your light with? Worry, doubt, fear, not good enough. Must personally develop.
It's amazing how many clients come to you that say that they're broken. And I say, no, you're perfect just as you are. We just need to make you aware of that. I'm helping you to be aware of the greatness within you. You know, it's yeah, so many people they give up because they think that they are broken.
But what, and they go, but what about this? And but what about that? What about it? What about it? You know, and I've had people who've been on therapy for 20 and 10 and 20 years and come and study with me. And within 2 months, they're like, why have I been at therapy? You know, I'm not knocking therapy. Therapy everything has its place. Everything has its place. Yeah. But the way Bob talks about it, what Bob had taught me was that, and quantum physics and Einstein, you know, if we keep talking at the level of the problem and trying to sort out the problem and why is the problem, then we have the problem. And it's like a Rubik's Cube. We fix it and it's done for a time till something moves the Rubik's Cube again. Yeah. And so when we can just go, be here of, well, what do I want? But not asking the I, the little I, the infinite intelligence I that you are. What do you want?
And knowing you have the potential to have what you want.
But we're trained into problem solving.
Yeah, yeah.
We're trained into knowledge, whereas it's knowing, which is not knowledge.
Yeah, exactly. I know.
But not that I haven't got an answer. So for goodness sake, if anybody's watching this, don't be thinking Sheena has the answers. I do not have any answers. I used to be so worried, or better say the right things. I do not have the answers. And that's what's so fun about this. I don't have the answers, and I most certainly do not have your answers. You have your answers.
Exactly.
I can help be that positivity. I'm number one positivity. And so I will help open you up and help you see your light. I can point you to the direction.
Help them to know how to think. How to get to where they want to think.
Yeah, which brings peace, which brings discipline. Discipline sounds like a hard word, but discipline is your best friend.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. And what I noticed is that, you know, so you can have the world influencing your mind, or you can have spirit influencing your mind. So the mind is not something to be like controlled. It's more a line and the balance. And it's just like, but where are you looking? If I'm looking at the world, I'm going to be everywhere. And trying to balance from there can't be done. But if I go this way and focus on, well, there's only spirit, there's only energy, there's only God, there's only infinite intelligence. Well, I'm only looking in one place. And that's what magnetism is, isn't it? Is that, you know, a steel, what is it? Persistence is to steel as carbon is to persistence is to steel as carbon is to steel, something along those lines. And it's like basically that, you know, the molecules in steel, when it's not a magnet, are all over the place. So we're all molecules, and it just depends on how they're matched up makes us look different. So the steel that's not a magnet, its molecules are all over the place. But then is it carbon that helps the molecules, that will drag the molecules in one line? Then it becomes a magnet. So if you've only got one source to look at, which is infinite intelligence, then you're in line. That's the alignment, one source. But if you're looking at the world, and Jesus said in the Bible, fish on the right side of the boat. If you're fishing on the other side and you're trying to get everything, like the world tells you to do, but then you have to do it. There comes a point where I felt like I was just beaten into surrender, to be honest, Kel-Anne. I was just like, okay, I give up. You're on your knee. Have you ever watched that movie, The Yes Man?
Long time ago.
Yeah, and he gives up in the end. Or is it Bruce Almighty? And he gives up at the end, and he's on his knees, and he just goes.
That was Bruce Almighty, wasn't it?
Was it Bruce Almighty? I think he just falls on his knees and just gives in and surrenders. I don't know the answers or something anymore. And we don't have to do that. We can say yes a lot sooner. But for me, I've been like beaten down and I was only doing it to myself until I just had no other answer except to look for infinite intelligence. then there's only one source of supply.
Yeah.
That's your magnetism. But it's hanging on, like it's Google Maps only gives you the answer when you need the answer.
Yeah.
That's the scary bit.
I
Because you're just
know.
like, hey, it's 3 days to go. It's Christmas and we still haven't got anywhere to be. Oh my God, what are you going to do? And then, boom, the answer happens.
Hanging on to that faith and staying on that vibration. That's the.
So this is what Bob calls being the intelligent follower.
Mm.
The intelligent follower, not the blind. You know, in the world, it's the blind leading the blind. But whenever you can become an intelligent follower, so we know the science, we know what it says in the Bible, we know all of this stuff, but that's not what gets us results. It's like going, no, I accept what's being said.
Yeah.
So my mum would have had her faith, but that was blind faith, and it falls at the first hurdle. She doubted, she worried, and she feared. That's not faith. That's not faith.
No.
Faith does not question.
No.
Faith doesn't even have to ask. There's nothing to ask for when you've got faith.
Yeah.
And so this is intelligent faith, like intelligent following of infinite intelligence.
Yes.
But it's scary.
It is.
You don't know the answer. So when you say, what's your future? I don't know. I just see castles and polo. That's what I see.
That's good.
I'm going private jets and private yachts and all of that. I mean, I've had, I've done all that, all the stuff before, but it's just more of it. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's more of that stuff. But I see castles and polo. That's the first thing that comes to mind for future for me.
Yeah.
And how that looks then is for whatever exciting story wants to be written next.
Yeah. It's exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing more about this castle.
I have put it up on, so I have sort of like given little hints, and I've put it up on a story every now and again, but it's not ready for the full reveal just yet. But it's like giving birth. It's like giving birth. You protect your baby until the end, and then you deliver the baby to the world. So
yeah, exciting. Looking forward to that. Well, thank you, Sheena. It's been wonderful. We could talk for another few hours. I know we could, because it's just.
Well, I know I'm still want to ask you questions, and it's just like, I'm looking at the time, and it's like, my goodness, how time absolutely flies, doesn't it?
I know.
So I'll have to get you on and interview you and do it the opposite way around and allow you to talk.
Sounds wonderful. Thank you.
That would be good. We'll do that. We'll set that up.
I'd love that. Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Well, we're going to say goodbye to everyone on Facebook. I am going to put it on YouTube as well, but for now it's goodbye to everyone on Facebook. And I'd like to wish you all a happy weekend. Enjoy the rest of Friday, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Bye.